It's time now for Real Estate Update. With Usha Chandra of Globenet Realty, real estate is our world.
Now we're standing here face to face, afraid to move or else.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very special segment and welcome Usha.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, and it's good to be back again for the weekly updates on real estate.
Well, today's show is a little bit different from every week because we are in a lockdown. So what's been happening in this lockdown?
Yes, in this lockdown, it's very, very difficult to do real estate at the moment. We have got, our team members are working from home. We are not allowed to do any inspections, actually. We can't do any inspections, especially with any of the properties. We had a couple of valuations. We have cancelled those. Multiple building inspections were booked in as well this week, so we had to postpone all those until further notice for the lockdown. So we'll be rescheduling all those inspections as soon as we are out of lockdown.
Okay, so it must be very challenging. So it must be very challenging at this point in time to conduct open houses and other things like that. So just in case if you had something like, the sale that is going through and it's just about to settle or something like that and there's some inspections to be done, is that possible? Or if it is, how would you do it?
Yes, that is possible. We are allowed to do only very essential inspections if they are settling and the owners, the new buyers are picking up the keys, or even if any of the tenants are moving into their new homes. So one of our staff team members can open and give them the keys. So that's a very limited things we can do in real estate at the moment. We have got a couple of properties which are vacant at the moment, so we can't show them. Some of them are rented at the moment, so the tenants are not allowing inspections. They're all very cautious with this new variants. So it is very difficult at the moment to do business, especially real estate, when we have got multiple properties which are becoming available or vacant in the near future. So we are just hoping that this lockdown will finish soon and we will be allowed to do more inspections, so we can have those properties back on track, and inspections can be done, and hopefully we'll be renting those properties so the owners are not losing too much money while it's vacant.
So it is very challenging times, as you have mentioned, and it is very hard for people whose properties are vacant and inspections cannot be conducted. But I think it's just a matter of time. And of course, when we look at any industry, there's always talks about how things are going and what needs to be done. So right now, let's take a look at the notice that has been put out by REIQ, and we're joined by Antonia Macarella.
The restrictions for lockdown areas, southeast Queensland, direction number 2. Now, not a lot has changed since yesterday's video. If you look at that particular direction, it still has listed in it businesses that must not operate during the lockdown period. Now, in that direction, you'll continue to see that real estate auctions and open house inspections are listed. Now, to be clear, the way that we have been told to read this is that auctions are not to continue unless they are held online. Open house inspections, where you open the property to the world at large, whether it be for a sale of that property to effect a sale or for as a rental property, those cannot continue. However, you can continue to hold private appointments for inspection only. Now, I wanted to say a few things about that. it's very limited. As I mentioned yesterday, there's no queuing. Today, that's been reiterated very, very strongly to us. In fact, what I will say to you is the message from government is that even though you are permitted to do private appointments for inspection only, they would prefer that you didn't do it unless it's absolutely essential. So we have been requested to convey this, that although there is a limited ground open to you, that for the next six days, that really all of us don't do anything unless it is absolutely essential. So it is there, it's lawful to do it, but can I ask you to think long and hard about whether it's a requirement, whether you could delay it beyond that lockdown period. The messaging is that they'd like to see all activities ideally ceasing to the extent that that's practicable and possible, so that we can get through this lockdown period. If you are going to conduct a private appointment, an inspection by way of private appointment, as we've mentioned previously, you need to make sure you are wearing a mask, and that of course you're using the QR code, and also the COVID checklist is being used. Emergency repairs, the advice is what we mentioned yesterday. Emergency repairs can continue. That's in relation to tenanted properties, but all other kinds of maintenance and repairs, and this applies equally to rental properties or properties for sale, that should not be happening during this lockdown period. We've got that straight from the horse's mouth. All sorts of construction work shouldn't be going on. It's only permissible in relation to commercial sites. It shouldn't be happening in the domestic sphere unless it's an emergency repair or maintenance issue. Again, we've been asked to convey that for those of you who are principals watching, that you really do send all of your team to work from home wherever possible. It's really only where it's essential that people must be in the workplace that is permissible. Now, I know after this video, I know we're going to get lots of questions, so let me try and address this as best I can in this video. Ladies and gentlemen, this does mean no videos, no photographs. It means that you really shouldn't be engaging in any activities at all unless they are absolutely crucial and very time sensitive. In fact, we've been asked to convey that where possible, if you do have settlements pending or, for example, pest and building inspections that are attached to a contract or evaluation, that you do try where possible to seek an extension beyond this lockdown period in relation to those activities. The other thing that we're getting asked questions about is this 10-kilometre rule. So I just want to be clear about this. That 10-kilometre rule governs all of those of us who reside in those 11 LGAs. And as I mentioned yesterday, you can only leave, travel beyond that 10k radius for very limited purposes. You'll remember those are things like going to get the vaccine shot or attending to vulnerable persons, etc. So what that means is it's not your job as real estate professionals to police this. We don't expect that. Government doesn't expect that. But obviously it's up to individuals as responsible adults to not be travelling further than 10k's for the purposes of inspecting premises. And so what I would say to you is if you're on a phone call or you know someone is outside that 10k radius, at minimum can I ask you to remind them about these rules.
So there you are, up to date on Australian Indian Radio and on this very special show of the weekly real estate update with Usha Chandra. And so it is trying time, and it is good that you are in touch with the Institute and getting all the updates from there as well. So what's your take on what that Antonio just said?
Yes, the same thing which I said. absolutely essential things we can do. No inspections, and only when there is a very crucial times at the moment. So it's absolutely necessary to work from home. The only thing, as I said before, only emergency repairs can be done. No building inspections, no tenant inspection or buyer inspections. I mean, I've just listed one property yesterday where I've got multiple people who want to see the property, and I instructed them that we can't do any inspections at all. I mean, people are thinking of putting an office without seeing the property. They can do that, but absolutely no inspections at all. Apart from giving the keys for the new houses, we can open the office for a very short period just to give them the keys. And we have got a couple of team working in the local area, so they live not too far from the office. They can do that. And yes, most of our team members are working from home, so it is very hard and trying times at the moment for everybody. So we are in the same boat all together. So stay safe. Yeah, that's the main thing. And a lot of people are very cautious. Even people are wearing masks or whatever. They don't want anybody in their homes. So we respect that. And I think if everybody follows the rules and regulations, then we can recover soon, and the lockdown can close soon as well. So we can open and do business again as usual, hopefully. And that's what I'm saying, and everybody else is saying in the industry as well. So respect whatever the government has given the decisions, and wear your masks, and just keep safe.
And of course, keeping safe and keeping everybody else safe as well, because if you go about, you do risk it, and you do risk of the community spread as well. Okay, so looking at the markets, because this week we don't have all the charts and the graphs, and because it would be all out of whack with these lockdowns and everything like that as well. I think we will resume that from next week. Yeah. But property market still remains quite hot, isn't it?
Absolutely, the property market is very hot, and the predictions are that the average property prices in Brisbane area will be over $1 million because of the Olympic Games. And we have seen wherever any Olympic Games or Expo, whatever has happened in Brisbane or in Australia or in the world, the prices go really high. Looking at Expo 88, when we came here, the prices were extremely high. The interest was 18-19% at that time. So and the prices were very high. Still people were buying properties. We bought in 88 our first home here in Brisbane, and with 18% interest. So people are buying, and then we have seen the market increased in G20 as well, where the prices went really high. And now everybody is predicting the prices will go extremely high for the Olympic Games in 2032. So people are already started purchasing properties, buying properties to capitalize on the current market. So when the time comes in 2032, the market, they will be getting extremely high rents, and they'll be all geared up. So if anybody is thinking of investing, now is the time. The interest rate is very low, and the prices are pretty good at the moment as well. Imagine if you buy a property, say for $600,000-700,000 or $500,000, and your median price will be $1 million. So you'll be laughing at the time. So invest in the properties now. Look at whichever areas are the growth areas, buy in those areas. And if you need any assistance, talk to your local agents or talk to us. Give us a call, and we'll guide you through which are the best suburbs to buy and what are the opportunities at the moment. We have got quite a few brand new apartments coming in the city area as well. So now is the time to invest, and everybody should be geared now to invest now, because of the interest rate is so low.
And you have rightfully said that now is the time, and looking at those key dates that you've mentioned, as number one, the 88 Expo 2000, we had the Sydney Olympics, and of course then the G20. All of those, if you go and look at the historical data, that's what all the predictions are. In many countries, when they had the Olympics, they actually lost money. But Brisbane and Queensland would like to, do better and that put in infrastructure that will be long term as well. And it's wonderful that on Friday we'll have ST from PRD, the chief economist, who have put out a paper which is about 9 pages long, but she will be here on the show to discuss all those impacts, to discuss all the research that they've done. PRD has always been a market leader in the research field, and of course, within the industry, everyone relies on those market research and reports, including our agency. So it will be good to see right here in this channel to discussing those reports, going into detail, what areas have been covered, what are the reports predicting. So that's something wonderful, and she will be in studio on Friday, so don't miss out that. And at 10 o'clock we'll have the normal news one. But as you mentioned about the property market being red hot, let's take a look at this report.
Darren Stone says finding a bargain in Perth's housing market is now near impossible. In the early 2000s, the self-employed builder purchased an investment property close to his home just north of the city's centre. Now he's looking to buy another.
It's certainly a competitive market out there at the moment to buy new sites. Anything you look at the moment, there's definitely a piece of overpaying going on in certain sites.
Low interest rates and generous tax breaks have encouraged more investors like Darren to pile into the market. Last month, house prices rose 1.6% across the country. Prices have leapt 16.1% over the past year, making it the fastest pace of growth in over 17 years.
It does now seem that investors, combined with second-time buyers who are seeking to upgrade their homes, are once again squeezing would-be first-home buyers out of the market.
Of the 2.2 million Australians renting out at least one property, 1.3 million declared a net rental loss in 2018-19. Most landlords have one property they negatively gear, but there are thousands who claim the tax break on at least 6. Economists say when rates begin to rise, that could pose a threat.
Well, the risks, as were clearly exposed during America's housing meltdown in the lead up to the global financial crisis of a dozen or so years ago, is that people who go into home ownership with very thin margins of equity can be in serious trouble if house prices fall, and can also be in serious trouble if interest rates go up significantly.
Last week, Labor ditched its policy on negative gearing and the capital gains tax concession.
We took these policies to the last 2 elections. They didn't find favour with the electorate. We've got to sit back and have a look at why and ensure that we can put policies which are going to find favour with the electorate but also deal with the issue at heart, which is housing affordability.
Australia's not the only country with unaffordable housing. In New Zealand, house prices have leapt by about 30% over the past year, but its government has axed their version of negative gearing in a bid to cool investor demand and make it easier for first home buyers to enter the market.
If you took away some of these tax concessions, it's not going to be a silver bullet for affordability. You might only wipe a couple of percentage points off the overall price. But what it does is mean that you're going to have more home owners in the mix and fewer investors.
The Property Council says modelling it commissioned from Deloitte Access Economics shows cutting these tax breaks would hurt the economy.
It would pitch up rents, it would have an impact on construction, and it would have a big drag on economic growth, a $1.5 billion impact on GDP.
Afternoon, I'd like to inquire about that 4x2.
Darren hopes the tax breaks are here to stay to ensure the investment delivers the financial return he needs.
that advantage is taken away, then you'd really have to look closer to make sure the metrics in terms of the income you're going to produce.
His property is positively geared thanks to low interest rates, but it won't stay that way forever.
And as the report says that it will not stay that way forever. So what's your take on that, Usha?
Yes, actually we have seen that Brisbane market has gone up 15.9%. And some other places like Sydney 19-20%. So absolutely the property prices are going high. It all depends on the interest rate as well. If the interest rate goes higher, a lot of people who have invested now may not be able to keep on the repayments on the mortgage. So there might be more properties coming on the market, but the property values shouldn't go any lower than what it is. Everybody is predicting the property prices will go up, and as we have seen in the graphs there, that it's increased 15.9% in Brisbane. So that shows that property prices are not here to go down; it will go escalating. Yeah.
And you are rightfully said there that property prices will go up, especially here in Brisbane now with the announcement of the Olympics. It is going to heat the already heated market, as we have seen. People making multiple offers, as you have mentioned before, and not enough properties on the market. So, it's not like the olden days where you carried a thick book and we went through all the pages, all the multiple listing, all the open listings that were said by people, the multi-list system that the REIQ had in those days. It is a completely new ball game. People are dealing with only few properties at a time. It is all different in all the agents vying for that same market. So yes, you're quite right in saying that the property prices will go up. And see, looking at when we first came and the interest rates were very high, people still bought. There was the GFC, people still bought the properties. No matter what, that market is always there. Of course, the market will fluctuate. The number of transactions always goes up and down, and the prices have, but in overall long term, people never go wrong with investment in property. The only people who fail is the ones who have probably paid too much out of some marketing scheme where they did not do a good research into the area, out of area, and where people who do not compare the local prices, but they look at the prices in their own cities and purchase elsewhere, thinking they're getting a bargain until the time comes to sell, and then they find out that they paid too much in the first place. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have for you in this segment until you have something else to add.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show, and please follow the restrictions, what the Queensland government is asking everybody to do. Always do the right thing, keep safe, and have a blessed day.
And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in with this special segment of Real Estate Update with Usha Chandra. Remember, every Wednesday we have the weekly Real Estate Update with Usha Chandra of Globenet.
Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Usha Chandra, Director of Globenet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. Globenet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. Globenet Realty. Real estate is our world.